Hey, welcome back to Touring History. And if you hear a dog barking, it's in Dave's backyard. It's not my fault.
Not my dog either.
Welcome back to the podcast where we prove that any random date contains enough workplace drama to power an entire season of The Office. I'm Lane.
And I'm Powerful Dave. And this is our fourth episode of Touring History X, Y, and Z, our shorter format designed to entertain and educate across the three largest generations.
Yes, 4 episodes in, and we're really hitting our stride, at least according to us, with this generational approach. It's amazing how the same historical events can mean completely different things depending on when you were born.
Or completely nothing. Think of it as historical perspective management with better workplace policies. And before we dive into a day that gave us everything from labor rights legislation to political scandal testimony to global media breakthroughs, we need to talk about Ike's Love and Sandwiches.
Are we really segueing from workplace policies to sandwich craftsmanship again,
You
Dave?
always ask that question, and damn it, I tell you the same thing every time. Yes, Lane, when you're about to discuss minimum wage laws, Watergate testimony, there's Watergate again, and the birth of global television all in one episode, you need sustenance that understands both tradition and innovation. Ike's Love and Sandwiches doesn't just make sandwiches, they create portable workplace solutions. How about that?
Wow. Since 2007, they've been proving that quality scales with creativity. Over 600 sandwich combinations, each one named after someone who made a difference, from the Tony Soprano to the Menage a Trois.
Check them out at ikesandwiches.com because when history gets this foundational, you deserve food that's equally well constructed.
And today's history is definitely foundational. June 25th, the day America established fair label standards.
Label standards?
It's
Wow,
got to be
I
a
didn't
clear
know.
label. It's got to be big enough I can read it, Dave. No,
That's not fair.
Fair labor standards. Political accountability got televised, and the world got its first taste of global media. 3 moments about protecting workers, exposing corruption, and connecting humanity. But first,
Humanity! Let's start with birthdays.
yeah, baby, let's go.
Because June 25th spans the entire entertainment timeline, folks. June Lockhart, find the fire, lassie, turns 100 today. Is she still around? Amazing. Lost in Space and Lassie Mom, proving that maternal authority figures were television gold long before anyone theorized about it.
Wasn't she It's a Wonderful Life also?
No.
Oh, who played the wife in that?
That's a good question.
I thought it was June Lockhart.
No.
Well, fine. Be
Jimmy
that way.
Stewart. Yes.
Jimmy Stewart played. That's right. Plus, we got Carly Simon. How? We just did her yesterday. That I think this is one of those AI moments where the AI writing room that we use has screwed up because yesterday
AI brain fart.
Today she had a birthday. So sorry about that, folks.
Let's take her out.
All right, we're gonna skip that. I'll just go on to. Well, why don't you just
I'll do Ricky.
Dave, who else's birthday is today?
Well, Ricky Gervais is 64. Good-looking 64, creating uncomfortable comedy that forces people to examine their own behavior, usually while making them laugh against their better judgment.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor at 71, bringing both legal brilliance and lived experience to the Supreme Court, proving that diversity strengthens institutions.
Yes, even though all the other Supreme Court justices have lived experiences, we're only going to talk about hers. And McKenna Grace just turned 18, transitioning from child actor to adult performer. I hope that doesn't mean what I think it does, while maintaining both talent and apparent sanity, which is honestly remarkable in Hollywood.
Yes, and from 100-year-old television pioneers to 18-year-old rising stars, June 25th really captures the full arc of entertainment evolution.
Lassie, come home. I'm lost in space. June 25th, 1938.
What, Lassie?
Lassie, let go of my leg. The Fair Labor Standards Act establishes Excelsior, the federal minimum wage at 25 cents an hour. Wow. What a whopper. And this is absolutely foundational Gen X economic policy.
Right. Here we go
Yeah.
again. Dave's connecting Depression era labor law to generational economics. Again.
No, 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 no. Seriously, Gen X were the first generation to grow up assuming that minimum wage was just normal. It's always been there, hasn't it? Huh. That there were basic protections for workers that couldn't be eliminated. Well, there you go again.
And they were also the first generation to watch those protections get systematically weakened. It's always been fun being a Gen Xer. By the
Yeah,
time Gen X entered the workforce in the 80s and 90s, minimum wage hadn't kept up with inflation for decades.
right. So they inherited this expectation. There you go with expectations that work should provide basic dignity. Well, 40-hour weeks, overtime pay, child labor protections, but then experienced an economy that was actively undermining those principles.
Yeah, the Fair Labor Standards Act created the framework for what Americans consider normal employment, but Gen X watched that framework get dismantled through deregulation and union busting.
Exactly. They grew up hearing about the good jobs their parents had, stable employment, benefits, pensions. Ha, those are not around anymore. Then entered a gig economy where none of those things were guaranteed.
What's fascinating is how this created Gen X's complicated relationship with work. They understand the value of labor protections because they've lived without them.
And they're baked. And they're deeply skeptical of corporate promises because they've watched companies eliminate benefits that previous generations took for granted.
Although, let's be honest, the original minimum wage of 25 cents would be about $5.50 today when you adjust for inflation. And the current federal minimum of $7.25 is actually higher in real terms.
Is it 7.25? I thought it was like 16. No?
Um,
I have to look that one up, folks. True, but housing, education, and healthcare costs have increased way faster than wages. The, mim- the minimum wage might be higher, but it buys less of what people actually need.
which explains why Gen X became so focused on side hustles and multiple income streams. When traditional employment doesn't provide security, you build your own.
I've got my own TikTok page, but not for long. Mm.
Yeah. Moving on to 1973, John Dean begins his explosive testimony before the Senate Watergate Committee, and this is peak millennial political awakening material.
What did you know and when did you know it? No, no, that's not how it goes. Wait, how is
Yeah.
Watergate testimony from 1973 relevant to people born in the 80s and 90s?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dave,
Oh, well.
because millennials grew up learning about Watergate as the template for how political accountability was supposed to work. A president does something illegal, Congress investigates, witnesses testify under oath, consequences follow.
Ah, that doesn't happen anymore.
It's a
John
quaint
Dean
idea, isn't it?
I know, yes. John Dean's testimony was legendary. 6 days of detailed accusations against the president, live on television with actual documents to back up his claims. Oops.
Right. So when
No
millennials
shredder
hit
there.
Right. So when millennials hit political consciousness during the Bush and Obama years, they expected this level of accountability to be normal. If there's a scandal, someone will testify truthfully and things will get resolved.
Okay. And then they watched the Trump years and realized that political accountability only works if people actually care about truth and consequences.
Exactly. Dean's testimony worked because he was willing to tell the truth even when it destroyed his own career. But what happens when witnesses just lie under oath
Lie?
and face no consequences?
Ooh, well, or when senators decide they don't care what the witness says, because party loyalty matters more than constitutional responsibility. Oh, yeah, that thing, the Constitution.
Yeah. Millennials spent their entire adult lives waiting for the John Dean moment that would expose corruption and restore institutional credibility. Then they realized that moment only works if institutions want to be credible.
Yeah, what's remarkable about Dean's testimony is how thoroughly it documented the corruption. He didn't just make accusations, he had recordings, memos, detailed timelines, a
It
cookbook.
was actually riveting television. People actually watched congressional hearings because the stakes felt real and the witnesses seemed honest.
Compare that to recent congressional hearings where witnesses refuse to answer questions and nothing seems to matter. No wonder millennials are frustrated with institutional politics.
Although Dean paid a real price for his honesty, his legal career was destroyed, he served prison time, and he became a pariah in Republican circles.
Oh, well, maybe that's why modern witnesses are less willing to be truthful. They've seen what happens to people who choose country over career.
Ah, good times. Let's
Yes.
go to 1967, shall we?
Oh, yeah. 1967 on this date, Our World airs as the first live global satellite television broadcast. Wow, reaching 400 million viewers across 5 continents. And this is pure Gen Z DNA right here.
Oh, interesting. So, wait, how is a 1967 TV broadcast relevant to people born after 1997?
Well, because this was the moment when global media became technically possible. They shot a satellite up there without a monkey. And before this, television was local or regional. Our World proved that you could literally connect the entire planet through shared media experiences.
And it featured live performances from different countries. The Beatles performed All You Need Is Love from London, artists from Canada, Mexico, Japan, all connected in real time.
Right. And this was the technological ancestor of everything Gen Z takes for granted. Live streaming, global social media, the assumption that you can instantly share experiences with people anywhere in the world. Well, didn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And it happened during the Cold War. The Soviet Union was supposed to participate, but dropped out at the last minute. So it
Yes.
became this demonstration of how media could transcend political boundaries.
Plus, it established the template for global media events, shared experiences that create temporary worldwide communities around specific moments.
Like how Gen Z organizes around global issues through social media. The technology is different, but the impulse to create worldwide solidarity through shared media is exactly the same.
Yeah, although our world was carefully curated and produced, while Gen Z's global media experiences are made up and kind of crazy, but different energy, same concept.
What's remarkable is how quickly this went from impossible to inevitable. In 1967, connecting 5 continents through live TV was cutting edge technology. By 2000, it was just how TV worked.
Yeah, and now Gen Z expects to be able to live stream their breakfast to followers on 6 continents. Our world made global media normal, but Gen Z made it personal. Another selfie?
Yes.
Sure.
Speaking of connecting different elements into something better, let's talk about Ike's Love and Sandwiches, where global flavors meet local creativity.
While other places stick traditional combinations, Ike's draws inspiration from everywhere. The Joseph Stalin, for example. It's a sandwich that bites back, representing flavors and influences from around the world.
Yeah, we've got the Gandhi, vegetarian perfection with avocado, cucumber, and sprouts. The James Dean, turkey and ham with attitude. These aren't just sandwiches, they're edible tributes to people who changed the world.
Founded in 2007 with a philosophy that great food should be both accessible and adventurous. I wonder what sandwich that is. Proving that you can honor tradition while embracing innovation.
That's right. Check them out at ikesandwich.com, where every order connects you to a global community of people who understand that creativity makes everything better, especially
Well
with
said.
sandwiches.
Well said, Lane.
So there
I'm
you
getting
have it.
hungry.
Yeah, it's time to go eat some Ike sandwiches, Dave.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on our fourth Touring History X, Y, and Z episode. June 25th gave us 3 different approaches to systemic change: legal protection, institutional accountability, and global connection.
And what strikes me is how these events show different strategies for creating lasting impact. The Fair Labor Standards Act used law to protect workers. John Dean used truth telling to expose corruption and ruin his career. And Our World used technology to demonstrate human unity.
And each strategy worked differently for different generations. Gen X inherited labor protections but watched them erode. Millennials expected Watergate style accountability but found institutions that didn't care about truth. And Gen Z grew up with global connectivity as a basic assumption.
Although all these lessons remain relevant, workers still need protection, corruption still needs exposure, And it happens a lot. And global media can still create positive change when used thoughtfully.
The tools change, but the fundamental challenges of creating fair, honest, and connected societies remain pretty consistent across generations.
Oh, speaking of consistent excellence, Lane, Ike's Loving
Mm.
Sandwiches has been proving that creativity and quality can work together perfectly. Check them out at ikesandwich.com.
Thanks for joining us. This X, Y, and Z format keeps revealing new patterns in how historical events shape generational worldviews. Share your thoughts and comments with us.
That's right. Until then, I'm Dave.
And I'm Lane, reminding you that history is just people making decisions about wages, truth telling, and whether technology should bring us together or drive us apart.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll be apart until then.